So, welcome back to Keith's Hot Takes. Before I get into the podcast and me and the guys talking about a couple different NFL topics leading up to the NFL draft, I wanted to talk about the Terrence Clark situation, and I also wanted to recap the high school playoff games from last night. So, let's go ahead and do that, and let's go ahead and jump into Sizzling Headlines. Let's get it. So first I'll talk about the Terrence Clark incident that happened earlier this week. So Terrence Clark, he was 19 years old. He played in Kentucky this season. Only played in about 8 games. And the article I was reading, I think it said he was dealing with a leg injury. That's why he didn't play a lot this season. But basically, he was leaving a workout with his teammate BJ Boston, and he was traveling at 80 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone, and unfortunately he was not wearing a seatbelt, and it was just really sad to see him, being reckless like that when his future was so bright. He's from Dorchester in the Boston area, and I'm pretty sure that they were going to draft him just because, it just felt like it was right, because he was really close with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and it's just really sad to see him do this when he's 3 months from getting drafted, and he had just signed with Clutch Sports the day before, and it's just really sad to see. So I'm praying for his family. It was really hard watching the video. I regret that they put that out there because he clipped a truck that was making a left turn, and then he slammed into a pole and then a brick wall, and it's just sad, like I said. So once again, praying for his family, friends, and everybody that was close to him, that was a fan of him. Just really sad to see. So let's move on to talking about the high school playoff games from last night. We'll start out with Dudley and TC Roberson. Dudley won 77 to 33. Yes, you heard me correct. Dudley won 77 to 33. They went on a 50-0 run. Yes, I know it's crazy. So what I'm hearing is TC Roberson's coach was saying that Dudley's size really took a toll on his team, because I watched a little bit of the game on NFFH network, and you can just see that Dudley is the much bigger team. And it was tied up 2020, and then, like I said, Dudley just scored 50 straight points and really broke that game open. They had 55 points at halftime, and it was just really a mismatch. Dudley was misseeded. They shouldn't have been the 8th seed. I don't know how TC Roberson was the 4 seed. I guess because they beat the number 1 seed in the bracket, Watauga. I guess that's how they got a 4 seed. But definitely looked like Dudley and TC Roberson got misseeded. I saw where TC Roberson gives up a lot of points, and Dudley just was a little too much for him last night. And then we move over to the other game, which is number 3 Weddington facing off against number 2 Mount Tabor. Weddington is the number 1 team in the state. They had a 33-game winning streak going into this game, and they just made a lot of mistakes last night, and that ultimately cost them against Mount Tabor. They had 4 turnovers. That's really unlike Weddington. They don't really make a lot of mistakes. They're very disciplined, and Mount Tabor really could have blown this out the door in the first half, but they didn't take advantage of the turnovers. But what turned the game around was where Mount Tabor held Weddington to a field goal coming out of halftime. Weddington didn't score no more, and Mount Tabor got a big 4th down conversion late in the third quarter, and I think it was with less than 30 seconds that they got the huge 4th down conversion. Tabor's quarterback, Tyrese McIntyre, it looked like an RPO. He was about to give it to the running back, but they crashed so hard on the running back, he just pulled it out and ran 17 yards down to the 2-yard line. They ran it one time, and then they went into the 4th quarter, and Noah Marshall got them the lead, and they never looked back. And then later in the 4th quarter, BJ McIntyre got loose, went 55 yards. That really put the game away. Tabor got another touchdown. The refs called it back. I didn't see the holding call, but it looked like that they were trying to keep Weddington in the game. It was a beautiful play call by Tabor. Looked like a double reverse or something along those lines. They got some good blocks, and now number 8 Dudley plays number 2 Tabor in the regional final with a chance to go to state. So Mount Tabor is 5-0 against Dudley, and I'm thinking that Mount Tabor is going to beat Dudley for a sixth straight time. And the reason why I'm just picking Mount Tabor is because their defense is on fire, and I really think that they're going to carry this team. And I think Mount Tabor is going to dominate the line of scrimmage like they did against Weddington, because that was the difference in the Weddington game. Weddington just couldn't do nothing with Mount Tabor in the trenches, and that's really what determines ball games in the playoffs: who wins the line of scrimmage, who dominates in the trenches. And Mount Tabor's just on a roll right now. I know Dudley has been on a roll since they lost to Mount Tabor, but the competition they've faced since they lost to Mount Tabor hasn't been that great, and I think it's going to be a close game. I'm thinking 21-14, Mount Tabor advances to their first state championship game since 2007 when they lost to Hoggard 28-0. That's the last time that I know of that Mount Tabor has made it to the state championship. Max Prep unfortunately only goes back to 2004, so that's as far as I can go back, and that's the only time I've seen that Mount Tabor has made the state championship. They've made the Final Four a couple times, gotten really close to the state championship, but they've fallen short. So I think that they get this done finally, and I'm really rooting for this team, rooting for Coach Brown. I'll hopefully be out there again to support them. It was an electric atmosphere last night. My voice is kind of hoarse. I was out there yelling, cheering them on, man. The atmosphere was electric last night, and these two teams, Weddington and Tabor, shouldn't have been facing off in the Elite Eight. This should have been a Final Four game, but the state misseeded these two teams, unfortunately, and it's just really unfortunate that we got this game so early. But Weddington, Mount Tabor lived up to the hype. It was a great game, and I know Mount Tabor and Dudley is going to be a dogfight, and like I said, I have Mount Tabor winning 21-14. Go Spartans, protect the South. I am so excited about today's show. I have two special guests joining me on the Sizzling Hotline. Guys, you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
I'm Bellamy. I'm Daniel Hill.
Today's show, we're really going to talk about a bunch of different NFL topics leading up to the NFL draft next week. And our first topic is going to be, what do you guys think about this Deshaun Watson situation? Do you think he's guilty? Do you think this is going to hurt him getting traded now? What are your thoughts on that?
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I mean, he's guilty. He's guilty by association, whether he did it or not. I mean, his skin color is going to play a factor, unfortunately. That's just the world we live in.
Yep.
And at the same time, I mean, I like him as a person, but I mean, everybody can't be lying. So at some point, I think the stories are a little fabricated. Yes, I mean, some people might just be like kind of following the hype train, but do I personally think he did it? On that note, I just think that everybody can't be lying. That's my comment for that.
Yeah, because like it's so, what are we up to, 22 now? So yeah, it's got to be like, Lord, some of these got to be true.
I lost count.
Yeah, I did too, but I think last time I heard it was 22. And yeah, I just think that when it started coming out with more and more, I was like, some of these got to be true. And I'm trying to figure out, like, why did he need all these massage therapists? Like, why can't you just get one and, just be happy? Why you gotta, be using all these different massage therapists? That's what threw me off. And the fact he did it like on Instagram, kind of, I would never try to get a massage therapist on Instagram. That's the last place I would look.
The only thing I don't like is Peyton Manning did the same thing at college at Tennessee, and the story came out like after he retired, but like nobody literally cared. Like he didn't get canceled at all. And the accuser wrote a book about it. So either he talked about it in his book, or the accuser talked about it. But it's public knowledge that he did what Deshaun Watson's being accused of, and like nobody cares. Like. I don't really like that, but
I didn't know that. You shared something new with me today. The thing that bothered me is, y'all remember the Chad Wheeler situation, right? Where he, nearly beat his black girlfriend to death.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
It's like they only talked about that for a day, but on these debate shows they've been talking about Deshaun Watson at least once or twice a week, but they barely gave that story, the legs that they're giving this Deshaun Watson situation, and we don't even know if it's, well, we know some of them are probably true, but they didn't give that the same energy that they did that situation, and that was worse.
And we know why he's getting that coverage. They're not going to say it. They're going to use the excuse, well, no one knows Chad Wheeler and he's an O-lineman, but we know why. I mean,
yeah.
Unfortunately, we know why.
But like Shannon Sharp said, whether this is true or not, Deshaun Watson, his reputation will never be the same, with all these accusations against him.
Yeah, I mean,
the sad thing is that we still don't know whether he really did it or not. Like we said, we can never look at him the same because people who have talked against him look like this. I mean, personally, I'm kind of torn talking about Deshaun Watson like this because part of me hopes that is true, only because of all the way his name's been drugged through the mud, and for people to bad mouth him like this, and for it to all be over nothing. Imagine what that. I mean, just imagine the devastation to his name, already. The other part of me really likes Deshaun Watson. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, and just trying to just always that one chance that he did it. Because I don't want to say that whether he did or didn't do it, because I'm not trying to badmouth anybody's story, because we don't know what they went through. Nobody was there. So, it's kind of hard to speak about situations giving, without all the facts. We don't have, all we have is a word of mouth and people's personal experience.
That's true. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but with all these cases, it seems like some of these are true, and he definitely did something wrong in these situations. So we just have to see how it plays out, and hopefully the victim, their lawyer, I don't like how he puts everything on IG. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but he puts stuff on IG, and I'd be like, I'd never expect the lawyer to go on IG with details about the case. So
that's very unprofessional.
So to move on to our next topic, which is the New Jersey rule. The NFL passed it yesterday. So what do you guys think about this?
My thoughts on that was, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I think some players will probably just keep their jersey because, I mean, when you think of Brady and Rodgers, they're number 12. I don't think they're going to change their jerseys. I mean, I think Brady even had to talk to someone to keep 12 when he came to Tampa Bay. So it's cool.
I think it was Godwin that he had to convince. I don't think it took much convincing. It's Tom Brady, but
he said he was going to go with 7 if he didn't give it up. It would have been interesting.
But here's the twist. If they change their number, they have to buy all the existing jerseys of their old number, but next year it won't cost them anything to change. So that's that's the twist. That's the twist.
Dang, NFL is you bring out something good, and then you got to put a twist to it.
Yeah, you have to know it's going to be a twist on that. They weren't just going to let you change them jerseys.
Yeah, that's in the first half.
Did you see what your former quarterback said about the jersey rule today, bro?
Oh, yeah. Said it makes for bad football. He said it's going to be hard for people to know who to block.
But I mean, it's people wear like a linebacker wears number 3 in high school or something like that, so or college. So that's all it's really gonna do is where they can wear any number that they want really. And I mean, I don't really see the big deal. I don't even know why they had this rule in the beginning. I guess they didn't want every running back wearing number 1 or something like that, or stuff like that. Maybe that's why they had this rule, but
yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be nothing new for them. I mean, they've been playing football all their lives. I mean, the NFL is the only league who had it. I mean, when they was in college and like you said, high school or Pee Wee leagues, they could wear whatever. So I mean, I don't really think. Like I said, I think the players who are famously known, Brady's always gonna be 12, Rodgers always gonna be 12, Mahomes, I feel like he's making 15. Russell Wilson, his number's 3. I don't know. It's a cosmetic thing, I guess. I mean, it's cool.
I think it's gonna be cool to see a running back. Maybe Derrick Henry may go back to number 2 or something like that. I think it'll be cool. For next year.
That 2 gonna be stretched out on his jersey.
Because the single digit numbers are usually the smaller jerseys. So you are right.
Yeah.
They probably have to stretch that thing.
That is
Because
but you know one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know one thing I thought about though? It's there was a loophole. I think it was the dude's name was Ty Montgomery. He had number 88 for the Packers, and then he went to the Jets. I think that's his name. But he had number 88, and he was a running back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They never used him as a receiver. His number would make you believe he was a running back. He was strictly a running back. So how did he get around with that? If the jersey rule is coming around there?
Yeah, cause he was listed as a receiver, but they've always used him out of the backfield. That's why I was maybe that's why.
He wasn't a receiver though.
Yeah, that's what always threw me off. I was like,
because he was drafted as a receiver. That's why.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense because I guess
Okay, so.
I just have one thing to say about the number thing. Also, it's gonna be weird. I mean, it's really just affect ranking the skill players on the field, like receivers, and running backs, because I don't think a quarterback will want to change. We really want to change our number.
I remember I don't know, do y'all know who Patrick Queen is? He plays for the Ravens. He's a linebacker, and he was asking Lamar Jackson if he could have 8. And you know Lamar Jackson told him that was dead.
I wouldn't feel about that. Nah, that's my number.
Yeah, it's gonna take some getting used to see a linebacker maybe switch into their college number or something like that. But
you know what I just thought of? Like a lot of players, their numbers have like significant meanings to them. So like, you know, I wonder if that's gonna play a factor in it too. If like, you know, they may not even change it.
Yeah, cause like at first, speaking of that, I know CeeDee Lamb, he was flirting with going back to number 2 if they passed his rule, but he said he was understanding the significance of 88 for the Cowboys, so he's gonna keep 88. So that's funny you mentioned that.
I don't think 88 fits him.
Yeah.
I mean, I like CeeDee Lamb, but like I'm going from Des Bryant, D Lamb, it's like the whole body shape has changed. Like he's not scrawny and by no sense, but he's slimmer, and it's like, you know, the number 88 seems big on him.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I just think that, you know, some of the greatest Cowboy receivers have wore that number, and, you know, I like that he's going to keep it because of what that number represents for us.
Honestly, I'm surprised I didn't retire the number. Like,
yeah, but, you know, they've always given it to, you know, they gave it to Dez when we drafted him, and I think the last person before Dez was Michael Irvin, so I'm surprised they didn't retire it before.
Yeah, if they were going to retire that number, they probably should have done it before, like after Dez.
Yeah, probably so.
No, I was just thinking that if Des Bryant retired after he left the Cowboys, they probably would have retired that number. Like, but instead he said he just went to a different team. If he would have retired, like just left like the league altogether, they probably would have did something with that number.
Well, it's like he basically did, because he went all them years without playing. Like, he just got back.
Yeah, I hate injuries kind of ruined his career, because, you know, he was a problem for the first couple of years he was in the league. I think he had like 70 touchdowns in his first 5 years, or it was some wild number like that, and then his body started to break down. It was real sad.
Well, I was hurt when he got hurt at the Saints, when he got traded to the Saints, and he got hurt in practice.
That was tough.
I think his Achilles? I think it was his Achilles, or something.
Yeah, there was something that caused him not to play. There was something major.
Yeah, I think it was his Achilles.
I don't think he played at all that season.
No. Yeah, I don't think he did at all. And then he played a little bit for the Ravens last year. So next we're going to talk about our team's free agency moves and what we want them to do in the draft. So who wants to go first here? Who wants to talk about their...
All right, so we spent $159.6 million guaranteed dollars.
Jesus.
That's an NFL record. Imagine having that much money. So most of that money went to Matthew Judon from the Ravens. He has a 4-year, $56 million, $2 million guaranteed. Insane. I like our free agency moves. So we got Hunter Henry. He's a tight end from LA Chargers. We brought back Calvin Noy. Good. He was pretty good when we was good defensively the first half of the season, like 2 years ago, and then we kind of fell off. So I'm glad we brought him back. It's kind of like a cycle with linebackers. Like they go to another team, sign a big deal, and then they just come back, because he signed like a huge deal with the Dolphins back. And then Nelson Aguilar, which I mean I know kind of brought his career back. I mean when he was with the Eagles, he was known for dropping a lot.
Butterfingers.
Yeah, but. I will say Cam doesn't have much of an excuse this season, because I mean for this last season we didn't have the best receiver core. And Edelman, you know, he was kind of banged up and he ultimately retired, which I was hurt about that when I ain't gonna lie. I was about to buy his jersey.
Yeah, because his body was starting to break down. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean he's a little dude. He's a tough dude, but he's a little dude. He used to get cracked. Like I used to be like, dang, how are you catching that and getting back up? But the debate if this thing's a Hall of Famer, which I mean we could go on that. I don't know if you want to bring up that topic, but
I wanted to ask because y'all signed 2 tight ends. So you remember when Brady was like, I think it was the early 2010s.
We had Hernandez and Gronk.
Yeah, I was wondering if you think y'all gonna go back to that 2 tight end set when y'all used to kill people.
Yes, I think we should, just because that's when we had the most success in the 2010s when we had that's when we had the squad for real. We had Brock, we had Hernandez, RFP Hernandez, we had Welker. I like Welker a little bit better than Edelman personally. Welker that was my guy too. But yeah, that's when we was really in our prime. The only thing is we have Cam now, so like I said, Brady wasn't really running a lot then, so it's gonna be interesting to see if Cam would patience in the pocket to let them go out on routes and catch.
So considering all the money that y'all spent, like y'all got your tax money, y'all just started to blow it. What do you want your team to address next week in the NFL draft?
I still think we should get a quarterback.
Ooh.
I mean, like I said before we got on here, competition is never bad. Cam, he's on the wrong side of 30 now. He had some excuse, but at the same time, he fumbled the ball against Buffalo. It was a few games we could have won, and it was on him. And then he caught COVID too, which I feel like nobody really talks about. He caught COVID in the middle of the season, came back, and he only missed one game.
Yeah, he was never the same after that.
Yeah, I think COVID really would change him as a player. Yeah,
because I can see why you would want a quarterback. Cam was 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he only threw for 2,000 yards last year. So.
But at the same time, he had 7 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think we should do how New Orleans was running for the longest. If we can get another quarterback and kind of prep them,
like a Swiss Army knife, basically.
Yeah, we could do like that. I feel like.
But I do like you saying y'all drafting a quarterback maybe for Cam to mentor, because I feel like Cam would be a great mentor. Because I'm looking at your depth chart, and if Cam gets hurt, I do not feel comfortable with any of these other quarterbacks that you have on your roster. So
I gave up hope and sit him. I was rooting for him for the longest when we drafted him, but every time he comes in the game, throws that pick, unfortunately.
Like you remember the Kansas City Chiefs game? If y'all had Cam, I think y'all would have won that game.
Yeah, we was right there with him. That was an underrated game in my opinion, really. And then the biggest game I really wish we won was Seattle, because we was play away. I don't really like the play call we did at the end, because Cam's gonna run the ball if it's on the goal line. I feel like.
But if I remember correctly, if he had went outside, I think he would have scored. I think if I'm remembering that right, I think if he went outside, he would have scored. I think he did a draw, and if he did a sweep, I think he would have scored. I think.
Yeah, but everybody expects Cam to go up the middle. That's one on the goal line. So everybody expecting Cam to go up the middle. That's one of the things he's known for. That's what he built his name around when he was in Carolina. You just knew it was coming, and that was a dumb play call. No offense.
It's funny. It's when we played Seattle in the Super Bowl, everybody's saying they should have threw the ball to win the game, and now we should have. I think I said that backwards. They should have ran the ball, but we should have threw the ball. That's what I meant to say. So I always thought that was funny.
Yeah. Damon, do you want to address your free agent moves, or do you want me to go first?
Yes, because I'm not familiar with the number Carolina spent as far as free agency, but they made some pretty good moves. First off, I just want to make sure everybody knows how they're trying to build it up. Already in Carolina, we have Brian Burns on one side of the D line. Then picked up Hassan Reddick from the Cardinals. You know how much trouble he's going to do. And then we picked up Denzel Perryman from the Chargers. Because we needed more mobile linebackers, more guys in coverage. That's one thing that even when Luke Kuechly was playing, he did his best, but somehow he was always out of pocket. He did his best as a linebacker, but he needed corner and safety help. But that wasn't always available. So we need somebody who a linebacker with Perryman will fit that slot.
Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, I was going to ask you that. What do you think? So do you like the Sam Darnold trade?
I almost definitely like that Sam Darnold trade. Cause I like Sam Darnold. It's I like him as a person. I like him as a quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's good decision making. He's athletic. He has a good arm. He was just on a stucky team. And it's really hard to judge somebody when you're on. No offense to the Jets, their whole franchise just sucks. It's hard to judge individual players because they're on a team that's not performing well as a whole. So I like him. I like Sam Darnold, and I'm just for the fact that he's out of the Jets, and it's he actually has weapons he can work with now, because he's back with Robbie Anderson, his old teammate from the Jets. He got DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey. So Christian McCaffrey and Sam Darnold can run from the backfield. Sam Darnold's not a little dude. Don't get it twisted. He's not little.
6'4".
he can run like he can run like play option with Christian McCaffrey and all the other running backs. It's like he's really not going to know. He's not on that Cam status just yet, but he has potential to be there.
So Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, y'all did my dog Teddy dirty. I don't like that.
I don't know what happened to Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he's a good player. He's a good leader. Like, if you hear all the guys talk about him, he's a good leader. And but just his performance on the field isn't exactly what we need him to be. But he, like, Teddy Bridgewater, like, finds what's best for him. But, like, I'm not trying to get rid of Teddy Bridgewater because he may not be a starter, but he's still a good backup. He's still a good player. He can still be a good mentor.
Yeah.
He studied under Cousins in Minnesota, Drew Brees in New Orleans. So he knows what to do. He knows. So he's either a good player and a good leader.
Yeah, because I mean,
he just fell short this last season.
Because I would just rework that contract he has, and I would love to have him as a mentor for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, because they paid a lot. I remember.
I think it was like $60 million. It was a lot of money.
Yeah, but Carolina opened them up for a trade.
40 guaranteed for 3 years.
That's
That's a lot of money.
Teddy probably ain't gonna want to let go of that. I wouldn't either. I don't blame him.
Carolina opened it up. Carolina allowed Teddy Bridgewater to speak a trade if he really wanted to. So we're gonna see what happens. And
go ahead.
And Carolina picked up Dan Arnold from the Cardinals too. I know without Greg Olsen that like they want to. So I think he'll be Dan Arnold was good for that one too.
But honestly though, I see the Panthers being decent this season because I mean the only really competition is gonna be with Tampa Bay and the NFC South. I mean the Buccaneers aren't. I mean not the Falcons. They're not gonna be as good. And
dang, sorry Falcon fans.
The Falcons isn't going downhill.
Yeah.
So Falcons are saying that.
Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say how Falcons have been really inconsistent as far as games and playing wise. So it's kind of hard to understand where they're gonna be as far as the conference until the season actually starts.
Yeah, that's true because I think they may take a quarterback because Matt Ryan is getting up there in age, or they may
he's almost done.
Or they may just take Kyle Pitts and have probably the best offense in the NFL, but can't stop nobody.
Longest amount of time I've been wanting Belichick to just make a trade for Julio Jones, but he won't do it. Like I've been wanting to do that.
That'd be scary, bro. Oh my.
That's all we need. Just give Cam Julio Jones, and we're making the playoffs at least. That's all we need.
You remember that catch he had when they played y'all? It was like pouring down rain or something. I was like.
Yeah, he snagged it over JC.
So Damon, before I talk about my team's free agency signings, I want to ask you. Do you want your team to go with an offensive lineman, or do you want them to try to get you a tight end at that 8 slot?
Honestly, they can go. That one can go either way. Cause I like Kyle Pitts. Cause like Kyle Pitts, I think he'll be a really good. Like his build and his speed and his power. He's good blocking. He can run tight end dumps. Like there's so much Carolina can do with that with Kyle Pitts. But it's like nothing. Like the offensive line is fundamental. It's like we have good players, but we have good linemen, but we need a good offensive line. So I'm gonna have to say if I had to choose, I'm gonna go with offensive linemen.
Well, in this mock draft I'm looking at, they have y'all taking Slater out of Northwestern, who's an offensive tackle. He's supposed to be really good at the 8th spot. Because I think y'all do need to upgrade your offensive line. I think it could use some more.
We did pick up.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing about me when it comes to the draft, like I said, I don't really keep up with college, so it's like I just try to look at the mock drafts and try to see who's the best available.
And I know you mentioned Kyle Pitts. You would probably have to trade up in the top 5 to get Kyle Pitts. I don't know if the Falcons.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Falcons will be willing to trade with y'all. Because it's been reported they've been looking to move out of that 4th spot, and I don't know if they would trade with their divisional rival, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah. I know, but offensive line is necessary. Other than the 2 Viking offensive lines, Pat Elfling and Cam Irving, we picked up both of them, so I guess that should hold us till we make a move with.
Cam Irving, you do not want him starting too much. Trust me, he was with Dallas. You don't want him starting too much. I remember sometimes I asked if he had on cement shoes because he always would get beat. It was just so frustrating.
Wow.
Yeah. So I really don't have that much to rave about like y'all do with my free agent signings, unfortunately. We did re-sign our quarterback, Dak Prescott, so I guess I can be happy about that. But other than that, I really don't know what we're doing in free agency, if I'm being honest. We signed two safeties from the Falcons, and they were one of the worst pass defenses last year. We got a safety from the Lions. They were also horrible last year. So I just hope we address our defense in the draft. I'll just leave it at that. Because I don't have much to rave about like y'all, unfortunately. Because Jerry doesn't spend money like Robert Kraft, unfortunately. So to wrap up on today's show, we're gonna play two little fun games. We're gonna do some draft night over unders, and then we're gonna play which quarterback we would take to win a game-winning drive with 2 minutes to go. So first, we're gonna do the over unders. So do you guys think will there be 5 quarterbacks to go in the top 10, over or under 5?
Well, as I'm looking at the teams, let's see. So I got the Jags getting the quarterback. I got the Jets getting the quarterback. So that's 2 right there.
2, yep.
49ers possibly. The Falcons no. So that's still 3. The Bengals no.
You don't think the Falcons will get a quarterback, Matt Ryan, and he like 37, 30? He's pretty old.
Maybe later on in the draft.
Okay. Because I think if Kyle Pitts is right there at 4, I think they're definitely going to take him and just try to outscore everybody. So you're right.
I already said the Dolphins. We don't even have the 7th pick yet, but just for the sake of this podcast, we'll say we traded up. They see us trading up for the 7th. So yeah, and either way, I still think we're going to get a quarterback. So yeah, then the Panthers probably not. Broncos. I don't really know much about Drew Lock. I kind of hear mixed reviews about him.
He's trash, so they'll probably take a quarterback.
He's not horrible. I mean, have there been better quarterbacks? Yes, but is he franchise quarterback? No, but he can get the job done sometimes. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Okay.
Last, you got the Cowboys. I don't see y'all quarterback yet. Y'all shouldn't.
No, we're not. If we take anything other than the corner, I'm gonna scream.
But you never know with Jerry though, so I'll say under.
Okay, because I've been hearing that Jerry is infatuated with Kyle Pitts, and I swear if we drive Kyle Pitts, I am going to throw something at the TV. We don't need no offense. We need corners. We need to stop somebody. Okay, what about you, Damon? Over or under 5 quarterback?
I'm gonna say. Alright, so I'm looking at the mock draft. Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. Jaguars aiming for Zach Wilson. 49ers is trying to get Mac Jones. I'm gonna say, who's the Bengals quarterback? Who's in Cincinnati right now?
Joe Burrow. He's the truth. They just need to get him some protection.
Yeah. I'm gonna say under.
Okay.
Under. What's really driving it is like in the 5th spot, Bengals 5th, the quarterback. Unless they want him, unless they're trying to stop somebody else from getting him, they don't need a quarterback. Cause Joe Burrow is young, but he has an experience on him to drive the team forward. So yeah, I'm gonna go under. The rest of these teams need a quarterback in some form. Whether for not right now, they're going to need one in the future. So they're trying to get them started and trying to like groom them while they're still young. So I can see why first 4 are quarterbacks.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna go with y'all. I think it'll be 4, or I could see 5, but I think I'm gonna go under, and I'm gonna stay right there at 4 with y'all. So our next one is: do you think 5 receivers will go in the top 20, over or under?
Okay, now for that, let me pull up the mock draft again for that. So you said top 20?
Yes, top 20. At least 5.
And it's over or under 10, right?
No, over or under 5 in the top 20.
Okay. As I'm looking at the teams...
And Kyle Pitts counts as a receiver because he basically looks like a wide receiver playing tight end. So
they got Devontae Smith going pretty early. That's going to be interesting.
I could see the Dolphins or the Bengals taking him. Yeah, because if the Bengals don't go tackle, I think they'll get another receiver because they also need some receiver help.
Yeah, I'll still say under.
Okay, what about you, Damien?
I'm off this under.
Okay, I'm thinking it's gonna be over. I'm thinking over because I think some teams need some receiver help. And for our final one, do you think a quarterback will be drafted number one? Because the last 20 years, 15 quarterbacks have been taken number one, 3 defensive ends, and 2 tackles.
The Jaguars don't get Trevor Lawrence in the round. And they
Yeah,
don't.
I definitely think it's going to be a quarterback because as I'm looking at it, 4 of the last 5 years a quarterback has went number one. Myles Garrett was the only time that it wasn't a quarterback going number one.
If I was a Jaguars fan and they didn't get Trevor Lawrence, I would be highly upset. I'm pretty sure Jaguar fans are already editing Trevor Lawrence jerseys before they even come out.
That's true. What about you, Damien?
Dang, man.
If they don't get Trevor Lawrence, who else?
Exactly.
What else do they need? If they're not after Trevor Lawrence.
Although Minshew, he wasn't that bad at first though.
Yeah, he was okay. Yeah, I mean, at first he was really good, and then he started to get really bad. So
yeah, there's just this draft Trevor Lawrence. Whoever owns it.
Yeah, they really about to miss out.
And then finally, to wrap up, we're gonna play. Which quarterback would you want for your game-winning 2-minute drive? Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, or Aaron Rodgers?
I almost don't even want to answer this question because
Lord,
y'all already know my answer.
I probably should have picked somebody else besides Tom Brady.
I'm gonna let y'all answer that for me. Who y'all think I would pick for that one?
It's obvious you would pick Tom Brady.
He leads the NFL with 39 fourth quarter comebacks. He came back from 25 points to Super Bowl 51.
Choke job.
Yeah.
I just knew they were about to win.
I ain't mad at them.
I just knew they were about to win.
Man, if we didn't come back and win that game, I would have caught hell for that game in school. Like, everybody was hitting me up on Instagram. Like, that was a tough night. That was my senior year. I remember that. It was just good.
So we know that Demarius is going with Tom Brady. What about you, Damien?
Demarius is over here being a Tom Brady fanboy. I'm not mad at him. He brought his side to him too, so I ain't mad at him. But I'm sitting here over here trying to think about the teams around him, like all each quarterbacks, like who like the receivers, the running backs. It's like who has the best squad? Like, cause
think of it like that.
Cause right now, based off offensive line, I might go with Patrick Mahomes.
I don't know. The offensive line wasn't that good in the Super Bowl.
Well, both their tackles were hurt, bro. Come on.
Right. Mahomes is amazing though.
He's a magician.
Yeah.
He's a magician.
The Super Bowl game was like, I'm not taking anything away from Tom Brady, but that game was kind of stacked against the Chiefs. Not only was the quarterback hurt, but the starting offensive lineman was hurt. And it's like that was kind of the receivers' fault they lost that game because Patrick Mahomes was just sitting drives, he was sitting plays, and just to throw the ball.
If I'm being honest, at this point in Mahomes' career, I think he's the best quarterback in the league. That's as unbiased as you're going to hear me say, but he's the best quarterback in the league right now. He does some things, like he was making plays, like falling down. Like I've never seen quarterbacks like fall down, still complete passes, and it's hitting them in the hands, and like they're just not catching it. Like I thought that was amazing.
Yeah. So I think I would go with Tom Brady because I just, like you said, he has the most experience on this list, so I would definitely go with Tom Brady. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. This was really fun. We'll have to do another one again soon. That was a fun show. I enjoyed having sports talk with the guys, and always good vibes when we get together and just talk about sports. So on next week's show, I know this one was a long one. Hopefully next week isn't this long. I'll be recapping the NFL draft and I'll be recapping Dudley and Mount Tabor and let you know who's going to the state championship and let you know who they'll be facing, and I'll preview that game and I'll also give a prediction. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Also, if you hadn't checked out my All-American trailer that I did last, check that out. I just went over 100 views yesterday, so thank you to everybody that has supported so far. And if you hadn't watched it, like I said, definitely check that out because it was really good. Some of my best work, and yeah, we're just gonna keep going higher and higher and higher. I'll see you guys next week. Peace. For me,
Find me somewhere out in London, you know that's the hideaway. Bank account never diminishing, yeah. It's that Harvard, they innocent. Hop in the tank and move